There is a warning buried in the bones of philosophy, a whisper, a shadow, a sentence most men have forgotten. Nietzsche said, "When you gaze long into the abyss also gazes into you." But there's something more dangerous, something we were never meant to hear. He wrote, "You go to women, do not forget the whip." Society buried this line, laughed at it, mocked it, but they didn't bury it because it was wrong. They buried it because it was too real, too dangerous, too close to the truth. The whip is not about violence, the whip is about power. And Nietzsche warned us, women do not come empty-handed. They bring their own weapons, their own chaos. Not the chaos you can see, not the chaos you can touch, but the chaos that controls you. While you believe you are in control, you've been told a beautiful lie, a story you wanted to believe. Love is partnership, women are nurturing, equality is the goal, but beneath the soft words, beneath the Instagram smiles, beneath the TikTok dances, there's something else, something cold, something ancient, something you feel but you cannot name. It's not a quality they want, it's leverage. And here's the cruel truth. They've always had it. The power to ignite your desire, the power to make you chase, the power to control your validation, the power to pull you in and twist your instincts against you. And the worst part, you'll thank them for it. When Nietzsche spoke of chaos wearing a skirt, he wasn't throwing insults, he was revealing a forbidden truth. He said, woman is not yet capable of friendship. It sounds brutal, it sounds unfair. But what if it's the most honest thing anyone ever said about love? Because some women, not all, but enough, are not looking for love. They are looking for utility. They don't want to love you, they want to use you. Not all women, sure. But enough to burn a generation, enough to destroy good men, enough to make you question everything. You know it, you've seen it, you've felt it, but you weren't allowed to say it until now. Nietzsche warned us, but we laughed, and the laughter stops. When you meet her, Michael, brilliant, top of his class, six-figure job, calm, logical, unshakable. He thought intelligence would protect him. He thought his mind was a shield. Then he met Sophia, beautiful, effortless, dangerous. She didn't want his money. She didn't need his books. She wanted his mind, but not to understand him, to disarm him. She stroked his ego, mirrored his fears, made him feel chosen until he let his guard down. That's when she flipped the game. She turned his overthinking against him. She turned his logic into his prison. When he questioned her, she cried. When he pulled away, she begged. When he stayed, she punished. Michael was brilliant, but she didn't need to outsmart him. She just needed to overwhelm him. She didn't fight with logic. She fought with chaos. The feminine chaos Nietzsche warned us about. And Michael? He wasn't dancing with her. He was drowning in her. When Sophia disappeared, she left him with unanswered messages and half-formed apologies. Michael didn't rage. He didn't cry. He collapsed, because the deepest betrayal was not that she left. It was that she never needed him. Maybe she never even admired him. And here's the question that haunts the intelligent man. What if the smarter you are, the less she can love you? What if the more you see through her, the more she secretly resents you because she doesn't want to be fully known? She doesn't want you to solve her. She wants to remain a mystery. A beautiful, painful, unsolvable chaos. Nietzsche whispered this, but no one listened. The feminine chaos is not a flaw. It's not an accident. It's her power. And most men, they step into it willingly, smiling, grateful, blind. In part 2, we will strip the mask of modern femininity. We will explore why women secretly crave chaos and why society demands men pretend not to notice. Modern femininity. You think you know it, you think you understand it, but modern femininity wears a mask, a delicate, beautiful, carefully constructed mask. It speaks of equality, it demands respect, it preaches independence, but behind the mask, there's something else. There's hunger, there's strategy, there's chaos. And the men who see behind the mask are labeled dangerous, toxic, misogynistic, because the one thing modern society cannot allow is for men to see the mechanism behind the performance. Let's tear the mask apart. What does modern femininity really crave? Not stability, not partnership, not truth. It craves chaos. It craves the tension, the drama, the emotional hurricanes. Because chaos is power. Chaos keeps men on their toes. Chaos forces men to chase. And here's the brutal paradox. When you offer peace, they get bored. When you offer certainty, they test you. When you offer devotion, they punish you. Not always, but enough. Enough to burn through good men like wildfire. Why? Because peace is predictable, and predictable is disposable. Nietzsche saw this. So did Freud. Freud said, unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. In modern women, those buried emotions have become the foundation of their attraction. They crave the man who can break them, but they fear the man who can see them. The toxic man, she'll chase him because he keeps her in chaos. The kind man, she'll ghost him because he gives her peace she's not ready to receive. She'll never say this out loud, but her instincts don't lie. She doesn't want to be fully safe. She wants to be on the edge, because when you're on the edge, you feel alive. Why does modern femininity despise the peaceful man? Because he doesn't activate her survival circuits. His love is soft. His presence is predictable. His logic is unmoving. And to her primal brain, that feels like death. She'll tell you she wants stability, but when you give it, she pulls away. She'll tell you she wants a good man, but when you offer your heart, she breaks it. Because she's not chasing stability. She's chasing the emotional high, the thrill of the unpredictable, the chaos. This is why she forgives the dangerous man, but punishes the loyal one. Because the dangerous man gives her the gift she can't manufacture herself. Tension, the uncomfortable, addictive, unbearable tension. She says, I just want to feel something real. But she already has something real. She just can't feel it because safety numbs her. But pain makes her feel alive. It's not a conscious decision. It's an instinctual drift. This is why women test, why they sabotage, why they create storms out of clear skies. They want to feel the friction. They want to know you won't run. They want to know you won't break. And if you do, she'll crush you. Not because she's evil, but because the moment you break, you become predictable. And predictable is boring. Why does society protect this mask? Because the truth threatens the social order. If men collectively realize that women chase chaos over comfort, that they reward tension over loyalty, that they crave the unpredictable over the safe, the entire romantic structure collapses. Dating, marriage, family, all of it is built on the lie that men can earn love by offering stability. But if stability is not what keeps her, if chaos is what she secretly seeks, then the rules men have been playing by were designed to make them lose. Society teaches you, be nice, be stable, be safe. But the men she can't forget were never safe. They were storms. They were fire. They were wild. The wild man doesn't need her validation. The safe man does. The wild man doesn't chase. The safe man begs. The wild man is scarce. The safe man is always available. So who wins? The man who triggers her chaos, not because he's toxic, but because he's untamed. Untamed is unpredictable, and unpredictable is powerful. This is the forbidden lesson, the one society hides, the one Nietzsche whispered. Women crave chaos, but only when they feel like they can't control it. Give her chaos she can't manipulate, and she will orbit you forever. Give her stability she can control, and she will leave you in silence. Modern femininity is addicted to what it cannot hold. It's the serpent eating its own tail, the labyrinth with no exit. And you were told to bring flowers, but what she wanted was fire. There's a hidden game modern women play, and most men, they don't even know they've been invited. It's not a game of love, it's a game of power. Not the power to lead, but the power to control emotions. The battlefield is not in the home, not in the bedroom, it's inside your head. Because if she can control how you feel, she can control who you become. You were told to be the protector, but no one told you what to protect. Your mind. Because the moment you hand her emotional control, you lose. Modern femininity is not attracted to weakness, but it's obsessed with the power to create it. This is the brutal trap. She will test you, push you, sabotage you, not because she wants you to fail, but because she needs to know you won't. Because if you collapse under pressure, she will never trust you with her soul. When you chase her validation, when you beg for her attention, when you collapse under her storms, you become something she despises. A man without spine, a man without center, a man who can be shaped, and what can be shaped can be discarded. This is why modern men are bleeding emotionally. They are conditioned to submit to her storms, to surrender their boundaries, to shrink their truth to protect her feelings. But the feelings she's testing for are not her comfort. She's testing for your edge. She wants to know if your fire can burn through her chaos, not to destroy her, but to hold her. And here's the twist. The man who can hold her chaos is the one who refuses to be moved by it. She throws the storm. He stands. She tests his patience. He breathes. She questions his worth. He smiles because he knows who he is. She wants to know if your self-worth is for sale, if your peace can be bought with her approval, if your strength collapses when she withdraws her affection. When you reveal that your validation doesn't depend on her praise, you terrify her, you electrify her, you awaken her primal submission, because now you are rare. Most men crumble. At the first sign of emotional withdrawal, they panic, they beg, they chase. But the man she can't forget is the man who doesn't flinch, the man who can love her without needing her, the man who can walk away without hatred, the man who offers stability but never at the cost of his fire. He is stable because he chooses to be, not because he fears losing her. The modern dating crisis is not just about bad women, it's about weak men, men who abandoned their center, men who made her feelings their compass. But her feelings shift. They rise, they fall, they burn, they freeze. Her feelings are the wind. Your purpose must be the mountain. She will respect the man who can hold steady when the winds howl, but she will destroy the man who moves at every gust, because if you move for her storms, she will never feel safe in your presence. It's a cruel irony. She pushes to see if you'll break, and when you do, she can't love you anymore, because love dies the moment it becomes a negotiation. When you trade your spine for her smile, you lose both. Nietzsche wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But modern men have made their why her happiness, and so they collapse when her moods change. But the man who has his own why, the man who serves his own fire, becomes untouchable. She may challenge him. She may test him, but she will always return to the man who stands unshaken. Because in a world full of noise, he is silence. In a world full of storms, he is the immovable flame. And women crave that flame, not to control it, not to extinguish it, but to orbit around it. Not all will stay, not all will understand, but the ones who matter will burn with you. And that is the secret no one dares to teach. She does not want to own you. She wants to feel you cannot be owned. She does not want to control you. She wants to feel that even her deepest chaos cannot bend you. Because when you stand tall in the face of her storms, you give her something no other man could. You give her peace that she can trust. Because it's not bought, it's not borrowed, it's not performed. It's who you are. The man who cannot be moved. The flame that does not flicker. The mountain that does not kneel. Most men think the game is about winning her, about saying the right words, doing the right things, being the right man. But here's the truth. No one dares to say. She's not looking for a man who plays the game. She's looking for the man who doesn't need to. The man who is already whole, already dangerous, already walking his path. And this is why so many men lose themselves. They make her the mission. They chase her approval like oxygen. They build their lives around her moods, and they die inside, because the more you orbit her, the more she pulls away. It's brutal. It's unfair. It's the game no one warned you about. But Nietzsche warned us when he said, "He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster." When you fight to please her, to fix her, to save her, you become a man you no longer recognize. You lose your fire, you lose your spine, you lose your edge, and that's when she loses interest. Because no woman can love the man who betrays himself, the man who bends at every storm, the man who trades his truth for her affection. She can use him, she can control him, she can pity him, but she cannot love him. Love is not born in submission, it is born in tension. Not the tension of conflict, but the tension of respect. The respect she feels when you refuse to be conquered. The world tells you to apologize for your masculinity, to kneel before her emotions, to fear being called harsh, distant, cold, but what she truly fears is the man who has no center. Because a man without a center is a man she cannot trust. And if she cannot trust you, she cannot stay. She may linger, she may test, she may beg for your attention, but she will never truly give herself to you. Because deep down, she knows you don't hold the flame. The flame holds you. You live for her smile. You fear her silence. You beg for her return. And that makes you easy to break. But when you no longer chase, when you no longer beg, when you no longer live for her moods, you become rare. A man with gravity. A man, and gravity pulls. She will feel your absence more than your presence. She will feel your distance more than your attention. And in that distance, in that mystery, you will haunt her because you become the man she cannot fully hold, not because you play games, but because you are too busy walking your path, too consumed by your mission, too devoted to your own flame. And that is the one thing modern femininity cannot resist. The man she cannot move, the man who can leave but chooses to stay, the man who can love but doesn't need to, the man who can give his heart but never gives his soul away, because his soul belongs to his purpose, his fire, his untouchable center. That is the man she will respect. That is the man she will follow. That is the man she will never forget. Not the one who gave everything, not the one who begged to be loved, not the one who softened himself to fit her comfort, but the man who stood tall, the man who faced her storms, the man who burned brighter in her chaos, the man who walked away without rage, who stayed without fear, the man whose love was an offering, not a plea. And this is the pain society tries to hide, that most men have been trained to offer their crown in exchange for her kiss. But the men who are remembered never traded their crown, they wore it. And if she wanted to walk beside them, she would do so by choice, not by demand. Because power cannot be negotiated. You either embody it, or you spend your life chasing the ones who do. And here's the final cut. Modern femininity was never the enemy. The enemy was the lie you believed, that your worth depends on her approval. But it never did. It was always you. It was always your fire. It was always your untouchable center. Be the man who holds it. Be the man who stands. Be the man who walks. And let the world follow or fade. She will feel it. And in that feeling, she will either rise to meet you or disappear into the noise. But you will remain unshaken. The flame that does not flicker, the mountain that does not kneel, the man she will never forget. Only the few will stay. If you're one of them, subscribe.